Hey there, friends. I hope I'm not overtaxing my Mac Pro by homebrew installing mplayer while I use Camtasia to record this video. This is what's happened so far. Let me make this bigger for you. So in a previous video, I was talking about running this script, which is a Python script, to control a process called mplayer on a Windows computer, Asus tablet, in fact. It's a tablet. It's kind of a hybrid. In other words, there is a keyboard that I usually do use, an actual physical keyboard, and then if you run it in tablet mode, you can pop up a keyboard, but cartoon keyboard, so to speak, virtual keyboard. So my goal here is to see if I've got a memory stick here with these movies that I'm playing here on the left. Lattice.mp4 is downloaded from YouTube. It's one of mine, and then there's one by Sam's crew. The goal is to play these without sound, so I'm not too worried about synchronizing sound. It may be a little bit off on one of these, so I'm going to go ahead and plug in that memory stick, and I'm going to go ahead and save this script to the C60 subfolder, and then we'll run the experiment. Okay, so here we go using spiders. So to give you an idea of the components, oh, it looks like it's already saved. It's called showsam.py in the C60 subfolder. So I'm okay with that. I'll replace it just for the fun of it, but I'm not going to run this script inside a Spider, because Spider's this big cute application that's spelled Q, letter T. It's its own GUI toolkit and blah blah. It's a big deal to try to run all kinds of threadings and processes from inside an IDE. I usually don't recommend doing that. Web servers, anything like that. Anytime you're trying to talk to the operating system, jump down to the operating system level and do it there. So when this thing's all finished, it's actually compiling from actually C language directly here. So mplayer has to be, created from scratch pretty much, and you can see that it's still working on that. So I'm going to pause the video, and when it's done compiling, we're going to make sure mplayer works on a Mac. And then we're going to try this Python script, which means I have to install the mplayer library. Let me show you doing that. Let's see, how would we do that? I know it's not part of Anaconda. Let's start another terminal, shall we? So let's go shell. Let's see, is this the way we should do it? Yeah. On this computer, yes. New window, because I have a script that fires every time I do this new terminal thing that actually takes me into the Anaconda distribution environments of Python that I want to be in. So if I just type Python here, it goes me straight to 3.6.8. So that's all cool. I actually want that to be the case. So here I want to do pip install mplayer, and this is not going to get mplayer, the movie player or media player, which is what I am installing in the other window. What this is going to do is grab the Python library that's stored in PyPy, what we used to call the cheese shop, but it's where you get your third-party Python modules. So let's see if this works at the same time I'm installing mplayer in another process. Because for my Pythons, couldn't find, satisfies, none, no matching distributions found for mplayer. So let's try homebrew. No, that's not going to work. Okay, this may not be a good idea. This whole idea just came to a grinding halt. I'm just going to stop. Wait. I'm coming back. I'm not giving up yet. I think all I forgot was to put the .py and hit enter that time. Let's see if this works better. if I actually do get some software installed in my current version of Python. So drum roll, this is suspense. Hey, it looks like it's going to work this time. Something's been found and has been installed. 7.2, that's the same one. So if mplayer would finish compiling here in this other window, I'd be ready, almost ready to run my tests. I have to just bring in the two MP4 movies that I want to use as my targets. And I'm not going to do that with the CPU grinding away, compiling like this. I'm just going to wait. So we'll go back into pause mode here. Okay, it looks like we're done compiling. It also removed Homebrew we're talking about, which is my source for mplayer, right? So it did this very long compile, and then it said brew cleanup has not been run in 30 days running now, and took away a huge number of files, which I don't need, I guess. Sounds good to me. I'm not worried about it. So let's just see now if I type clear, if I type mplayer, does it like do something? Yeah, so there's mplayer. Now if I go into Python, I didn't have to, I'll go to this other window. I don't have to go to another window for this, but I will. Python, and now I'm in Python. Can I go import mplayer? And now this is checking both the dependency, the fact that it's going to find mplayer is installed, and that the Python module for controlling mplayer is installed. This is kind of a double test of both. The fact that nothing happened and that it came back with no complaints is an indication that this is all working. So the next thing I need to do is bring in those. Question is, can I do it from the command line? What are my devices here? I'm not really sure. I'm so used to using memory sticks with the GUI. I think I'll pause for that part of this process. Copying files is a little bit too boring. So pause recording. So am I recording here? It's hard to tell. If so, you'll see that I am copying from I've gone back to recording, copying my 3 items from the memory stick. It says it's going to take about 2 minutes. And then what we're going to do is actually run the script in question from the command line and see if it succeeds in booting up and playing a movie or two. And if so, that will prove that one reason Python is so popular is because it runs smoothly across platforms. Although you could argue that everything I'm doing is a little bit overkill. Like, do I really need to be controlling mplayer with Python? Why don't I just make a script where I invoke mplayer in slave mode directly from the command line? Why do I need Python as an intermediary? And that's a perfectly valid question. It's really because I'm playing around and learning Python's libraries a little better, like third-party libraries, like this one. I'm just exploring what Python has to offer, really. So let's pause again. Okay, it says less than a minute. I'm going to take that at its word. We're talking about 1.6 gigabytes worth of MP4 files. However, the script that I'm planning to run only mentions 2 of them. Okay, they're over now. I've copied them. Let's go to the command line. Let's go to the other command line, and let's just remind ourselves what are the Python scripts here. There should, I think, only be one. Start.py. Oops, I'm not in the right place. I need to go to documents C60 and now list the Python files that are here. And okay, there's a Unicode sample file of some kind. We'll skip running that and just do python show sam.py. Now what I'm hoping will happen, and this is a live test, I've never tried it before, so I don't know what's going to happen, but what I hope happens is Python boots up a first video and even takes it to full screen, starts it somewhere towards the end actually, and then transitions to a second video, which I would not allow the whole thing to play for this video. Let's go and see. And I don't think it will turn off sound. I will have to do that if I want to do that. So far so good, and that nothing... must be real number, not none type. Okay, but that looks like the kind of, well, something's going on. It sort of worked. We saw that come back, but there's something going on with the timing. It's taking too long to boot. I'm going to go change the script a little bit. I'm going to make it wait longer to do anything. Like I'm going to sleep for a whole 10 seconds here. That could solve the situation. Save it, go back, and we'll run it again, see if we get a better results. I think the reason this crapped out here is by the time it got to it, P was no longer, or P had not yet been created. We dropped down to running this too soon. So we need more load time, I think. Let's try it again. It's probably slow because Camtasia is running at the same time. I'm really...
Hey there, friends. I just saw where
it's working
Lucky
now.
Fuller was praising the guy who did...
Okay, so I've turned off sound. Oh, and there it jumped to the place. It started playing right at the beginning, and then it jumped to where I wanted it to jump to, close to the end. And now it's playing. It looks to be, I would not call this full screen, but it's close to full screen. I don't see a menu bar. Maybe this is as good as mplayer would do in full screen mode. And we'll see in a second if it jumps to another video. This is a video from YouTube downloaded by me where I'm using an opportunity to describe how to assemble C60 in terms of rabbit ears around the logo in XYZ mutually orthogonal pairs, actually 4 in each of the X, Y, and Z directions. So that would be how many struts? 12 struts. And I'm coming back. That fade in, fade out was part of the video. That has nothing to do with the script. Alright, so graphene on the left. Those cuboctahedra were in a import store down by the waterfront. Portland imports a lot of very interesting, strange things from the Orient. Pacific Rim, we're a Pacific Rim trading capital, you could say. So I'm showing the structural stability of this thing. Again, I'm supposedly recording this on Camtasia at the same time that this little Mac Pro is playing it on mplayer, just homebrewed installed a minute ago. In which case, that's pretty impressive because the playback looks pretty smooth. And if Camtasia is getting this as smoothly, then I'm pretty impressed by the bandwidth being manifest here on this laptop. The fan is going at high speed, so it is running hot right now. This is like pushing the thing to its limits, and I think this should be coming to an end any time now. That was the graphene so-called molecule. I spend a lot of time looking down and looking at other things. That's kind of part of my style with these YouTubes, and that's Nick Consoletti there. And I think and Sarah, the dog, is sniffing his knee there. Sarah and Nick have both passed away. And so I've got this idea that I'll project this. Okay, that was the jump. Okay, and now we've jumped to the next video. We'll project this inside the gallery Maybe I'll do this against a blank wall at night and take pictures through the window. I don't know yet. That might be fun. So that's proof of concept. It does run on Mac and Windows. Now how do I kill this? In the background I can do a Control-C and that ends the program. But it did all work as planned. So very impressive. Congratulations to Python, mplayer, and operating systems, because this works in Windows the same way now. All right, talk to you soon.